Welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings, everyone. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm giving you Week 7 of my comic rundown for 2021, February 17th. Everyone, thanks for watching today. Welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I've got my comic rundown. It's Week 7 of 2021. That's February 17th. I know by the time this is live, it'll probably be the 19th or really late on the 18th. But hey, it's the Wednesday the new comic books come out that I'm dating these by. So yesterday was a bit of an intense day, so I didn't get to do it. So here I am tonight. And yeah, before that, I want to get into... before I get into my comics, just wanted to say I'm very excited about tomorrow's WandaVision. Come back, and I'll have that up sometime before lunch Eastern Time in the U.S. For those of you who want to check out my reaction to WandaVision, episode 7, which will be out tomorrow morning. Very excited, really enjoying that show. I've got a bunch of my, not reactions to where I watch it and you see me react, just my thoughts, reactions to it at the end of the episode. So yeah, if you are interested in that, check that out. And hopefully I'll have some other content coming to the channel soon, besides just my comic haul and the WandaVision stuff. It's just been hectic beginning to the new year, not in a bad way, just a lot going on, so I haven't been able to do some other things. I have seen some new movies via HBO Max and some other channels and stuff, so I do have some things to bring, but instead of doing individual reviews, I might do like a couple movies in one go, just to get my initial thoughts out or whatever. Alright, that said, let's do the rundown for Week 7, 2021. And we're going to start alphabetically, then I'll do my cover of the week and my top 3. As always, if you have any comments, questions, please hit me up in the comments below. I'd be really happy to hear from you and see what you had to say. Is there a comic I'm missing that you think I should be reading? Or if you want to know more about any of these, let me know. And yeah, we'll start off with the top of the list this week is DC's Black Label issue 3, Batman and Catwoman. Yes, this is Phantasm. If you have not been following this series, this is the Phantasm in the DC universe, comic universe. It is not the cartoon series from the 90s. This has been a really fun series to see Tom King carry over where he left off when he left the Batman book last year or the year before, whenever that was. So it's interesting seeing his story play out. It's kind of set current timeline and distant future for Selina and Bruce. But you've read any of the Tom King Batman stuff, you'll kind of know where that fits into their storyline. Next up is Cable, number 8. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying mainly Phil Noto's art on this. Duggan, however you say the writer's name, is telling a great story. I was not all that thrilled about Kid Cable when they introduced him a couple years ago. But this series has been doing a really good job with him. It's made me more invested in the character to see where it's going. I'm not a huge... I don't dislike Cable, but I guess I'm a little more vested in the classic, 90s Cable, because that's who I knew as Cable first. So all that to say, this series is really good. It's really entertaining. This almost made my top 3 this week, but some of the things took higher precedence over it. So up next is Captain America 27. I really keep waiting for this book to go somewhere. It's not bad, it's just I don't know. I feel like we're really dragging out this Cap trying to regain his place in society after the whole Secret Empire thing, which I wish never would have happened. I did not like Secret Empire. I think it ended better than it started, but it's not an event I like, and here we are how many years later, and Cap's still dealing with the repercussions of that. So yeah, not a big fan of that one. I mean, this series, I don't mean that this book it's well written, it's just not, I don't know, it's not landing for me, but I'm keeping with it because it is a good story. So anyway, up next is Champions, Outlawed, issue 4. I know I've said a lot of things about these characters over the different comic hauls over the months, years, however long I've been doing this now. Champions is a great book go back to the beginning if you've not read it. Read all the Champion stuff. It's great. Absolutely love it. And Al Ewing's doing a great job with this story. And it's nice to see them reunited with Cyclops, because young Cyclops from the past was with them in the first iteration of the team. And it's just really nice to see them interacting with the adult Cyclops and see him, especially from the Dawn of X era version of Cyclops, dealing with them. And I'm really enjoying that. So up next is Future State, Catwoman issue 2. Got both the regular and the alternate covers. Really great 2-part story. Enjoyed this a lot. Was it Ram V and Otto Schmidt? My friend John pointed out that I had forgotten about the story, but Otto Schmidt did a story in Green Arrow a couple years ago during DC Rebirth with a high-speed train heist. And Catwoman also features a high-speed train heist. So this was fun. I really like this series. Of the Future States, this and Wonder Woman are probably the two I've liked the most. So I would definitely be intrigued to see more from that story, but we'll see what happens. Another Future State, Immortal Wonder Woman. This was also really good. It delivered a lot of the same ideas and things moving forward from the previous issue, both in the Diana Prince and the Nubia stories. I really liked them. It just wasn't... yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a cool little cameo in there, and I really like the way they showed Diana, because it's not her interacting with a character I'm not used to seeing her interact with. So that was a nice, heartwarming scene. This storyline reminded me a lot of the Captain Marvel The End from a couple years ago from Marvel, where Carol was in the future and Earth was dying of nuclear winter or something, and what she did in that story kind of reminds me of that story, this Wonder Woman, Immortal Wonder Woman. So that was also pretty cool. Okay, we've got Marauders number 18. The crew gets into some crazy more hijinks. There's actually some cool stuff going on in this with Mask, a character I had not thought about in years, if not decades. And yeah, it's really interesting. The other thing that intrigued me is that at the end of the issue it said to be concluded, so I don't know if Marauders is ending with the next issue or if it's just the storyline. Usually when it says that in the issue, it usually means end of the series. At least that's been my experience, or I just don't pay attention very much. I don't know. All right, got 2 more before the cover of the week. Issue 4 of 6, Origins from Boom Studios. This is a really interesting comic. I really like this. I think the art is really beautiful and it's a really cool story. It does some different things with the post-apocalyptic future world and man and machine and robots and all that. Or androids. It's just a really interesting take on all that, and it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. Again, this also made the top 3 this week, but there's a couple of things that just piqued me a little bit more this week. But this has definitely been a great series, and I'm really kind of edge of my seat reading this to find out what happens. There's only 2 issues left, so 2 more months and we'll know how that plays out. And the last in the normal countdown for today is X-Men Legends number 1. Featuring a lot of classic late 80s, 90s creative team there, if you can see the names. And after Brett Booth's return to X-Men with X-Men number 18 or whatever it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that was really cool, and it was really fun to see him doing this issue. Brought back a character which I didn't catch on the cover when I signed up for this book. Was that Adam X or whatever his name is? A character I'd completely forgotten existed, just like Mask. So this was kind of fun, getting a throwback to some 90s stuff, and I really liked Brett Booth's art in this. It was fun, and it's set back in that era in the 90s, so it was fun. It was kind of, I liked seeing this version of X-Men as opposed to a lot of the X-Men stuff I've been seeing lately. So yeah, I mean, come on, rogue 80s, I mean, late 80s, 90s X-Men stuff is where I got into it, so I'm always going to have a soft spot for it. But yeah, so that was a nice breath of fresh air for X-Men, and I'll be really intrigued to see where that goes, because, well, I won't say anything. Check that out for yourself. New number 1. I think it's just going to be an ongoing series. It doesn't have a limited number as far as I know, but we'll see what happens. And my cover of the week, which also is tied, it's somewhere between 1 and 2 for my top picks of the week as far as issues go themselves, but I'm going to hold it up here as my cover of the week. Got this gorgeous Adam Hughes Black Widow number 5. This was a really great run. I really enjoyed this series. I think the interior art from Elena Casagrande was absolutely fantastic, and Rafael de la Torre did some other pages in it as well. Yeah, and Jordi Belair on art, Kelly Thompson writing. This is a great miniseries. I highly recommend you check this out. 5 issues are out, so check your local comic shops or wherever you buy your comics. I'm sure there will be a collected edition coming soon, so check this out. Black Widow, number 5. Let's see, what was the storyline called? I don't know if it has it in here. The Ties That Bind. So Black Widow, The Ties That Bind is probably going to be what the collected edition trade paperback will be called. So that's my cover of the week, and number 1.5, 1 point something, top pick. So here we go into the top 3 for the week. First time placement on the top 3 list is Sword number 3 at location number 3 on the list. I really like when it's done well, when a comic can really hold my interest when it's really only focusing on one character. And Manifold is a character I'm familiar with from the past stories with him, but it was really nice to see him get a kind of feature story in Sword where they could afford the time to explore him and where he's at in all of this, and it was just really fun. It was a really cool issue. I like getting to see him use his powers, and they get a little into how his powers aren't quite what we think we are, and I don't know if that's me forgetting that they were the way they're described here, or if they're just further explaining it in a better way than they used to. I'll have to go back and reread some of that stuff. But yeah, Sword number 3 at number 3. Number 2 on the list this week is Once and Future number 16 from Boom Studios. This series just keeps sending out the hits with this book. I am really enjoying it. The story is great, and the art is beautiful, so kudos to the entire creative team. I'm going to be really sad when this series comes to an end. It has been a lot of fun. I don't know when that's going to be. That's not saying anything. It seems like they've got a lot of room left to run with this series, but this has been really cool. Yeah, it's just always neat to see what different elements they're going to throw into it, and sword and sorcery stuff is kind of my fantasy stuff, is like my go-to theme genre that I really like. So getting to see it play into comics rather than just being a straight adaptation of some other work is really cool. And at number 1 for the week, I'm sure no one's going to be surprised by this, issue 2 of Tmnt, The Last Ronin. It's got my boy Raphael on the cover there, and it is definitely an oversized book, so you'll probably need a Golden Age bag, probably. I think I have a Golden Age bag with a trimmed down magazine board to fit it in the bag, so it's definitely too big for a normal bag. But this issue was fantastic. Last Ronin is set in the future of the original 80s Turtles comics, and there's one surviving turtle, and you see their struggles being alone and where they're at in the state of the future of that version of New York. And yeah, it is really cool. Of course, I mean, Raph gets featured primarily in this because it's a flashback to a story about Raph set amongst the other things. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil whether or not if you haven't read the first one. If you've read the first issue, you know who the Last Ronin is. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil that here. be that as it may, this was just a really great issue. Got to see Kevin Eastman do some of the flashback art. It was really cool. And yeah, so that's it. I think that's going to be the end of my Comic Haul rundown for the week 7 of 2021, February 17th. Yeah, it was a really great batch of comics this week. I had a lot of fun reading these. And yeah, I can't wait to see what comes out next week. Like I say, know what comes out next week, but can't wait to read them and experience them and tell you slightly about them. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments, the subscriptions. It's great to know people are enjoying this stuff. At least I think you're enjoying this stuff. So yeah, so I'll be back probably in a few hours with WandaVision reaction to episode 7. Cannot wait to see what that is. I know there's talk about it being an hour long because of what they said, how much content was made for the series. So we'll see. So we'll get this out to you. I'm doing this. There's no one helping me. I'll get this out to you sometime before lunchtime tomorrow in Eastern time. And yeah, that's it. I'm rambling, and that's the channel. I ramble. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. And catch you later.